Yuanwu is a character that was once compared to characters like Alto, and yet now he's sitting on the same level as Don Jin on Pridwen's famous tier list. What happened? How did Yuanwu go from a complete underdog, or undercat, to one of the best speedrunning supports? That's what I'm going to be exploring in this video. Now, let's look at Yuanwu's kit to see what's up with the guy. What could be here that changed his reputation entirely? His basics have nothing, so we start with his skill. His skill is going to be where things get interesting. He will spawn this construct looking thing, and when you stand within the circle, you do a coordinated attack. There it is, coordinated attacks. And if you didn't know, Jinshi, who I consider the best DPS in the game, really likes these. This is because her forte gauge, which buffs up her skill's nuclear damage, gets charged extra fast by coordinated attacks. And that's exactly what Yuanwu has here. But what about other characters like Mortefi and Yinlin? They're better characters while also having coordinated attacks. How about you let me finish the kit before we get onto that topic? Okay, so his ultimate will just be a hit of damage. That will also give the entire team a lightning infused status. For most characters, this will just give them interruption resistance, but on Yuanwu himself, it enhances his basic attacks. So nothing great other than coordinated attacks so far. What about his intro or outro? His intro just deals damage and his outro just kinda does a lot of shield damage. What exactly is so interesting here? Maybe it's in his sequences? All of this just increases his own damage. I mean, there's the team-wide shield and defense, but again, what makes Yuanwu good here? Well, it's exactly the fact that his kit is so mediocre that makes him good. What? Elaborate. Okay, think about it. He allows you to get coordinated attacks from just using his skill. No need to farm energy, no need to farm concerto. He plays like a Genshin character. He presses E and then he leaves again. His short skill cooldown of 30 seconds also allows him to easily reposition his field if it's in an awkward place. So what, he's just purely a coordinated attack bot? For who? Well, obviously it's Jinshi, but if he's just there to stack Jinshi's skill, that seems kinda lame, does it not? Well, it does, but he's not limited to just that. He can run the original type for the gauntlets to give himself a self-heal. Do you see where this is going? Yeah, he can run the 5-piece healing set, and may as well throw on the bell. Now you've turned Yuanwu into a 15% attack and 10% damage bonus buffer with less than 2 seconds of field time. Hell, here's a side-by-side comparison of Yinlin's field time against Yuanwu's. So what? Yuanwu's only good with Jinshi? I don't want to build a character purely because they're an okay option with one character. Yinlin is better after all. Well, that's the best part. You don't have to build Yuanwu at all. And I don't know if you guys feel the same, but building characters has been taking me a while. So not having to build one of your characters is very useful. His damage is disappointing, so building for damage won't do you any good. Leveling his skills also don't decrease the coordinated attack interval. The literal only reason to put any investment into him is because his second inherent skill that gives increased skill range. I plan to level him for this, but it's not necessary and that's great for your resources. Even if you have Yinlin, maybe you have a Kulchara on the sidelines that needs her help more than Jinshi does. Yenu may even end up being your best option if your Jinshi has an unreasonable amount of investment. I'm talking things like sequences. Don't believe me? Well, here is me running an S6 Jinshi with Yuanwu, and then an S6 Jinshi with Yinlin. And remember, this is a pretty decent Yinlin. Although I admit there could be much more investment. She's on her best gotcha 4-star weapon at S0. Yinlin would be doing a lot more damage if she had String Master. And without String Master, Yinlin gets such a considerable decrease in damage that it's honestly to a point I don't recommend pulling for her for your Jinshi team, unless you have, or you can afford to pull for String Master. But that's yet another near 70 pulls down the drain, and then there's this level 5 Goober. So we are looking at an S0 4-star unit that is given for literally free just by playing Tower of Adversity that is using a 3-star weapon. Not only that, but he doesn't want any specific stat, and he does his job at level 1. Does it get any cheaper than that? Mortefi needs to be leveled with sequences, maybe even a 5-star pistol. All that just to compete. Of course, I'm not telling you Yuanwu is a better character than Yinlin. I need to make that very clear. Yinlin is still better. But Yinlin is also a very popular unit, who you can shove into any team and she'll be good. There are also some characters that really need her and don't have good other options. Hell, the reason I even considered playing Yuanwu is because my Kochara was bricked without Yinlin, and my GN needed his Mortefi. So I said, why not? And what did I end up with? The only unit that allows Taoqi's field time to be bearable. Poor Taoqi. Anyway, Yenu has another plus. If you choose to just go full ER, you'll be able to use his ultimate to give your team interruption resistance, making it so dodging isn't a DPS loss. Well, until you inevitably die. Not a big thing, but it's still there. It's not like you're gonna build any other stat. I remember saying in past videos that units with too short of a field time would end up being a problem, because Jinshi has a minimum rotation length for her unison effect. But my issues ended up not being a problem. A team of Jinshi, Yuanwu, and Verena, despite all having pretty short field time, has a long enough field time for unison to trigger enough. Yuanwu really is the ultimate budget option, because everything you need for him is free. So remember, just because your Yinlin is unavailable, doesn't mean your Jinshi is in pain. Yuanwu might just be the most poverty-friendly unit I have ever used in any of the free gotchas I play. No one has ever even come close. I mean, seriously, level 1, unleveled echoes on a 3-star weapon, doesn't even need sequences? You wouldn't catch Hoyo doing that. And I think what saves Yuanwu is ultimately Wuthering Waves' more skill-focused gameplay, allowing a zero investment character to survive as easily as he does. But remember, the best reason to use Yuanwu is because he has a cat. That'll be all from me. Peace.